we will be taking up Adi Shankara's text, which is known as Bhaja Govindam. We are all familiar with it. It's a small, relatively small text. It's just got 31 verses in it. But it is one of Adi Shankara's extremely important works. We all know that Adi Shankara's contribution is immense when it comes to the field of scriptures. He is the one who has given to us the Bhashyas, commentaries on Brahma Sutras, on the Upanishads, on the Bhagavad Gita. Not only that, he has given his own texts also, that called as elementary introductory textbooks of Vedanta, but they are not elementary in that sense at all. They are quite deep, profound it is. So very many texts are there which he has given to us. Apart from all this, he has given to us very many stotras. So therein we can see Shankara the Jnani, and over here Shankara the Bhakta also. So we have various stotras, starting from Ganesha's stotra onwards, all the deities, he has given to us stotras, wherein we are glorifying the Lord with name, with form, with qualities, and also his pastime, his leelas around him. So therefore, we can never ever enter into any spiritual activity, whether it is study of the scriptures, or whether it is rituals, without invoking Shankara, because in rituals, stotras will come in. So his contribution is vast, we know that, and amongst them all, Bhaja Govindam is one of them. Normally they consider Bhaja Govindam as a stotra, because it's very easy, simple, it's the verses are very musical. So right from childhood onwards, we can teach the entire Bhaja Govindam to children. In fact, in Balavihar classes, Bhaja Govindam is taught. So normally Bhaja Govindam comes under the category of stotras, like I said. So right from the beginning, children will get introduced to these verses. They sing them very beautifully, but the suggestion is very vast. All the concepts of Vedanta are so beautifully packed in this tiny text called Bhaja Govindam. Actually, it's not known as Bhaja Govindam, it's called as Moha Mudgara. Moha means delusion. Delusion we know. Delusion is something, whenever there is something real over there, we consider it to be unreal. And where there is something unreal, we have taken it to be real. Why? We do not know. We are ignorant, and therefore we have taken the real to be the unreal and the unreal to be the real. Simplest definition of delusion. So why have we done that? Because we are ignorant. Here we are talking about spiritual ignorance. So therefore we are all in moha at various levels or in various stages, and therefore the illusion that we see outside of us and inside of us, this has to go away from us. What text will help us to remove the delusion into which we all have fallen into? Bhaja Govindam will help us. Therefore it is called as Moha Mudgara. Actually, traditionally this is the title of those 31 verses. Moha Mudgara. That which takes away our delusion or moha when we enter into it. Not just routine singing the verses, but we have to study it and enter into the meaning of it and put it into practice in our lives. But because it starts with Bhaja Govindam, very many of us call the text itself as Bhaja Govindam Stotra. There is a very beautiful incident or background for this Bhaja Govindam to manifest in front of us, or for Adi Shankara to give to us the Bhaja Govindam or the Moha Mudgara. So we are told, when Adi Shankara along with 14 of his prominent disciples were moving around in Kashi, Benares, at one point of time when he was probably walking on the streets or the roads over there with his disciples behind him, he noticed a very old man, Pandit, sitting in one corner probably and studying the Sanskrit grammar rules. He was memorizing them. Probably he was loudly reciting them also, whatever he was doing over there. Sanskrit grammar. So Shankara saw this old man, maybe he was 90, maybe he was 95, or a very old person, almost dying, let us say, but sitting over there very seriously studying Sanskrit grammar. At that point of time, the teacher became so overwhelmed with compassion. That's how all our gurus are. And he must have seen that this person over here is wasting his life. All his life he must have already wasted up till here. Now he is at the fag end of his life. Death is almost approaching him. We do not know when. Death doesn't really depend on the age, but still. He is so old, and instead of spending his time in invoking the Lord, he is over here practicing, or he is trying to memorize Sanskrit grammar with the words over there. So therefore Shankara wants to pull him up. So how will he pull him up? Immediately this is what came out of Shankara. This entire text, Bhajagovindam. It starts with Bhajagovindam. So that first verse, I already did say there are 31 verses over here. The first verse is a chorus. So very often after each and every verse, after the first verse, the second verse, the third verse, this is chanted as a chorus. So the first verse, which starts with Bhajagovindam, is the chorus. Then comes verse 1, 2, 3, etc. How many verses did Shankara contribute to this stotra? 12. So all the 12 of them, 12 verses plus this one, 13 verses, together are called, collectively called as Dwadasha Manjarika Stotram. Dwadasha means 12. Of course it is 12 plus 1, but 12 verses are there. The first one is the chorus. So it's like a bouquet, or it's like a garland of flowers. So if we consider it to be a garland of flowers, every verse is one flower over there. Or we can say a collection of flowers, bouquet. So it's a collection of very beautiful verses over there, which have been likened to a flower. So all the 12 plus 1, they go under the name of Dwadasha Manjarika Stotram. After Shankara had finished with this 1 plus 12, the 14 disciples who were there around him, they all felt so inspired, and each of them contributed one verse. So 14 disciples contributed 14 verses, each of them one. It got added to this in the same meter. So the 14 of those verses contributed by Shankara's 14 disciples, they go under the name, a title of Chaturdasha Manjarika Stotram. Chaturdasha means 14. So they are 14 over there. After each of those disciples had contributed one verse, that is 14 of them, Shankara was so happy that he in turn again contributed 4 verses. So those last 4 verses become a very fitting end to the entire stotra. So 1 plus 12 plus 14 plus 4 is equal to 31. So the entire bouquet of 31 verses is called as Moha Mudgara, or it is called as Bhajagovindam Stotra, contributed by Shankara and his 14 disciples. So therefore, when Shankara saw this person practicing or trying to memorize probably Sanskrit grammar rules, he was filled with pity, he was filled with compassion that this person is wasting his life, and therefore he has to pull him up. How will we pull up somebody? Tomorrow is the examination and the student has not studied or not revised. So there is always a last final revision always. So not revised or not studied, we always pull them up. There is a sense of urgency over there, because by tomorrow is the exam, and today you have not gone through this particular chapter or particular subject. So there is a sense of haste over there, a sense of quickness over there. If we don't tell them now, they will never do it, and if they don't do it now, it's not going to be good for the child. when they face the examination tomorrow. So there is always a sense of urgency when we tell the student, come on, study now. Hardly there is any time. Tomorrow morning is the examination. That sense of urgency we can find in Shankara's words over here. They are not soft at all. It's literally he is hammering it onto that person. Now that person, whether the person understood, that old Pandit man understood and took Shankara's words in the right sense, we do not know. But Shankara has used that person as a nimitta to address all of us. Why we are all not 80, 90, our age is, we are all still young. If that is our argument, he says no, life is short, time is fleeting, time is just flowing very fast. We do not know when, what will happen. Therefore, in Shankara's words, there is a sense of urgency. Quickly, quickly, start, he says. Otherwise, maybe there won't be any time for you left to think over and then start doing what we are supposed to do. So, in each and every verse over there we can find a sense of urgency in Shankara's words. There is a do right now. It's like saying now. Why? If it's not now, maybe it will become never. That's how the words are there in each and every verse. And what is he dealing with? Like I already said, the fundamentals of Vedanta are packed in this Bhaja Govindam. So it's not just an ordinary stotra that way, which we are all very, very familiar with. This is a stotra which is completely apart from the normal stotras that we know of. Herein we find lot of Vedantic concepts. The essence of the Upanishad, the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. In very, very simple words, he is communicating it to us. Because he knows that we do not know. We are all little children. So how will we groom little children and put them on the right track? We have to use simple words. We have to come down to their level and explain to them in a language that they will know. Similarly, he is coming down to our level. He really has to come down to that level. He comes down and then he sees us, how we are managing our own lives, our life's experiences, what we are doing, what are our priorities, what are our essentials, our needs, our wants. He is very, very familiar with all of that. So he comes down to our level and then he uses us at our level to push us into the proper path. So he talks about not somebody's life. He is not talking about his own life. He is realized. Neither his devotees nor advanced spiritual seekers. He is talking about us directly to us. So he is addressing us about ourselves, where we are. So he is talking about all of us Jivatmas, individual people, wherever we are, stuck in samsara. And then from there he slowly, slowly guides us. But of course there is a haste over there. But though he tells us hasten, he says hasten slowly. So that also is there very beautifully. So every verse over here is almost like a picture. It's like a word painting. Each verse handles something differently. And the way he wields words, he uses these words, it's like when we really get into the Bhaja Govindam, in essence, not just read it and put it away and put the book away. If we really enter into it as we should enter into it, every verse will stay in our mind. It's like something being painted on our own mind. Mind is the canvas on which somebody is painting over there. Or we can say it's like a slide. The slides we put into the projector and then remove it, and we see on the screen whatever is there, the contents of the slide. So every verse over here is the different slide. Every verse over here is like a different picture, photo, painting. And therein we will feel the urgency of the master in trying to wake us up. It's really like putting his hands on our shoulder and saying, wake up, where are you? Why have you wasted so much of time? Now you can't afford to waste any more time. Why? That is where you are right now, he says. What is the guarantee that we have so much of time afterwards? That we can do now whatever we want to do, and then maybe after 10 years, after 15 years, after we become senior citizen or really become 80 or 85, then we will think of Bhagavan and scriptures and Bhagavad Gita and all that. So he's like literally shaking us up from where we are. That we can feel in the words that he has employed in each and every verse. So this whole collection of 31 verses, like I already said, it's called as Moha Mudgara, or otherwise we call it as Bhajagovindam. And I already gave the situation also, wherein Sankara is really shaking up that person who was just sitting over there and just practicing or memorizing Sanskrit grammar when he is so old, almost dying. So this is a little bit of an introduction to Bhajagovindam. And now we will enter into the text. Like I already did say, there are 31 verses. I am just repeating it for those who have just joined now. The first one is the chorus. After that, Sankara has given out 12 more verses. After that, 14 of his disciples add one verse each of them. So 1 plus 12 plus 14, and finally Sankara winds it up with another 4 verses. Now if we take up any Bhajagovindam text which is available at the counter or the shelf, sometime the chorus will remain the same, but the sequence of the other verses sometimes can change. Why? Because at that point of time when Sankara gave it out to that old man in Kashi, there was no print available. Probably nobody noted it down also. It must have all been noted down in memory. So somebody afterwards put them all together. So therefore in many texts we will find the sequence slightly different in the 12 and in the 14. So maybe a 5th verse over here, maybe a 10th verse somewhere else, or a 10th verse over here, maybe a 20th verse in some other text. So when we see something like that, we need not have to worry about it. But all the 31 verses are intact. It's just that sometimes the sequence may be different, but the essence remains the same. So we will go through it as given out in our textbook over here. So if any of you have a text wherein the sequence of the verses are different, not to worry. We will come to that also later on. And whatever verse we are going through, maybe in your text it comes later on, that's all. So with this much of an introduction, we will enter into the Bhajagovindam text, Moha Mudgara. Like I already said, all the verses are in meter form. So they can very beautifully be sung. They can be chanted also. They can also be sung. I am sure many of you would have heard the Bhajagovindam which has been sung by M.S. Subbulakshmi. So every verse she puts a different raga and she sings. She has not sung all of them, but she has taken a few of them. So they are very musical. It's easy to learn also. So children normally in our Balavihar classes, we normally teach them the Bhajagovindam Stotra also. So here we will just go through the verses and then we will try to see what is the meaning. So when Sankara saw this old man sitting over there in a corner and memorizing Sanskrit grammar, what is it that came out of Sankara's mouth? What words did he utter? Is the chorus first. It's a chorus. It's not really the first verse. So he says, or he said, Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam Bhajamudamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukrin Karane. This is the chorus. So after every verse normally we do chant. Need not be also at the end also, after all the verses we can again get back to the chorus. So how did Sankara start? trying to pull up that old person over there, the first word he uses is Bhaja. And the second word is Govinda. So immediately we are not to consider that this is a text only meant for Krishna Bhaktas. Why? Krishna is the one who is called as Govinda. In fact, he got the title when he lifted up the Govardhana. Bhagavan Indra gave him the title Govinda. So the moment we see the word Govinda or when we hear the word Govinda, we think it is a text only meant for Krishna Bhaktas. Here over here, Sankara is not using it like that. We have to go into the meaning of what Govinda means. Govinda comes in the Vishnu Sahasranama also. And according to Madhvacharya, every nama or every name of the Lord which comes in the Vishnu Sahasranama has got 100 different meanings. Even when we went through Vishnu Sahasranama, we have just dealt with 1 or 2 meanings, that's all. 100 are there. That's the beauty of Sanskrit language. So over here, Govinda only means the supreme reality, Bhagavan. So we can immediately consider Govinda to be our Ishtadevat, the deity whom we have been worshipping till now. It can be Rama, it can be Krishna, it can be Shiva, it can be Devi, it can be Ganesha, Hanumanji, Subramanya, any deity. So therefore, the moment we hear the word Govinda, we should not think it is restricted only to Krishna Bhaktas. Only they should chant the Bhaja Govindam, or Sankara is only addressing them. No. Addressing only Krishna's devotees. Govinda here stands for Lord. So Bhaja Govindam. Bhaja means immediately we think of bhajana. Bhajana for us we know. We go for bhajan class, we go for satsang, and then we say there is a bhajan program. So the moment we hear the word bhajan, we think of harmonium, we think of tabla, we think of some musicians over there, other accompanying instruments also may be there, and thala, etc. That is called kirtan. It's a part of bhajan. Because even in the kirtan over there, what are we doing? We are invoking the Lord. Bhajana basically means we are invoking the Lord. We are invoking the higher. That's what bhajan actually means. The root meaning of bhaja means to do service. Whom are we serving over there? We are serving Bhagavan. Through what? Through kirtan we are serving him. There are so many ways of serving. Physical service is one. But over there, we are serving the Lord. When we say we are serving the Lord, or when we say we are serving our Guru, it means we are invoking his grace and blessings through whatever we are doing with our equipment and with our abilities, capacities, etc. Capabilities, etc. So, Bhaja actually means to serve. So if we literally translate, first we will go through the word meaning. Bhaja Govindam. He starts with serve. Whom should we serve? We should serve Govinda. We will come to Govinda later on. How can we serve the Lord? Right now he is not there in front of us. We all believe in the Lord. But he is not there in front of us, right there in gross form for us to serve. So what does Sankara mean over here when he says Bhaja? To serve means to invoke. When we serve somebody, we are invoking their grace and blessing, or afterward they will express they will acknowledge us, they express their gratitude to us, gratefulness to us in the context. When we serve somebody, they will say thank you, I am very grateful to you, I am very indebted to you. Here we are talking not about an ordinary person, we are talking about the Lord over here. Therefore, to do bhajana means to serve the Lord. How can we serve the Lord? Because Bhagavan doesn't need any of our services. All that we can do is to invoke him through a prayer. Invoking means what? To lift ourselves with whatever equipment we have, with whatever capacities and capabilities we have, to lift ourselves up to the higher and try to connect with the higher. That's what bhajana means. That's what prayer also means. At least one moment, can I completely be with the Lord? Can I completely connect with the Lord? If we have connected even for 1 second with the Lord, we have fulfilled ourselves in our prayer, or we have fulfilled ourselves in our bhajana of Him. Therefore, bhajana actually means to invoke the Lord. So he is saying over here, leave alone your Sanskrit grammar, whatever he was doing, that Pandit over there, memorizing, and why don't you turn your attention towards the Lord? Whatever he was doing there was engaging himself in worldly knowledge. He says worldly knowledge has got its limit. After a certain point, our worldly knowledge cannot take us beyond that. Will it help us? Of course it helps us. It helps us for our livelihood. Knowledge, worldly knowledge. That is why we go to school, then we go to colleges, our degree, post-graduation, etc., etc. And then we get employed. It takes care of our livelihood, whatever we need, whatever we want afterwards, etc., etc. So knowledge is a must. And any knowledge is a must. To be able to cook also, we need the knowledge of that particular recipe. Otherwise we can't do. So all the knowledge of cooking is there. Therefore probably she is a good cook. She can cook well. So it doesn't mean Sankara is saying completely ignore all knowledge. He doesn't mean that at all. We all need our worldly knowledge, but it can help us only up to a certain extent. Beyond that, what? There comes in our spirituality. All our worldly knowledges can only look after our food, clothing, shelter and comforts. So everything taken care of, needs taken care of. And lot of comforts we have, everything is taken care of. Still, are we happy? If we question if we really introspect, we will know, no. Everything is fine. Things are there, beings are there, nothing to complain about, nothing to grieve about, nothing to mourn about, but still somewhere a dissatisfaction in us will always be there in us. But we will always say, everything is there around me and about me, but. That but is being addressed over here. So everything is there, but we need something higher also in our lives. And it is only that which can take care of our hereafter, here and hereafter. We have left that. Even the worldly knowledge, yes, it takes care of our livelihood, money, salary, etc., etc. But still there also, increase is there, decrease is there, job can go. There are so many factors over there. Therefore, we keep on pursuing our worldly pursuits. One after the other, one after the other, one after the other. Why are we doing all that? Only to be happy, only to be comfortable. Sankara says, beyond that also there is something else. Even your here is not being taken care of 100%. There is some factor which will take care of our here and hereafter. What is it? How many people are there who don't have comforts, who are in sheer poverty, yet they are happy? There is a smile on their faces, not an artificial smile. How many of us are there who have got everything in our lives, but still we are not happy? So the amount of comfort we have, the extent of comfort we have, the amount of wealth we have, and the luxuries that are there around us, the riches, really don't contribute to the peace and the happiness that we long for. There is something else. That is what Sankara is trying to tell us. So there is some factor which will take care of your here and your hereafter. Even over here, whether we have things or not. Sure, all of us would like to be happy and peaceful. Whether things and beings are there or not there, whether it is conducive, whether it is not conducive, but still, I would like to be peaceful and I'd like to be happy. Is there something which will contribute that peace and happiness to us in spite of anything, and in spite of the riches and luxuries being with us or not being with us? Yes, there is, he said. So there is some factor which will take care of our here and hereafter. That we have missed out in our lives. The majority of us have missed out. Many of us say we will take care of it afterwards. We go to the temple, we don't take our children and go. Why? Little children, let them play at home. Why should they now itself come to the temple? We are there to pray for them. So any problem, our problem or our children's problem, we go to the temple and pray. For them also we pray, good. Children are not exposed to the temple at all. When they grow up and then when they need, and when they are in times of difficulty, when challenges come to them, obstacles come to them in their life, difficulties come, where will they go? They've never been introduced to the temple or to the Lord. We never took them with us. We thought we will do it on their behalf. We shouldn't be doing it. Nowadays we are doing it more. Whether we take them or not for a picnic or for a resort or or to a shopping mall, temple must become an important agenda in our lives, for the children's lives, because we already know we go. Luckily our parents took us, but now they are being deprived. We have seen when little children come to the temple, they do not know what to do. They can't connect. Many of them don't even know how to do a namaskar. They don't know how to take an arati. Tirtham, they do not know how to take. If the Pandit gives a little flower, they don't know what to do with it. So they missed out on something very, very precious and valuable in their lives. We are not aware of how much they are deprived of. We think we have taken care of everything. We really have not taken care of many things. So therefore over here, when Sankara says Bhaja over there, it means to connect with the Lord. Connect with the Lord when? Right now we should connect. Who all should connect? All of us should connect. Why wait for a senior citizenship to come to us? How many are there who go away when they are 20 or 30 or 40 or 50? They never saw the age of 60. They never lived till 60. How many are there who die as children? Youngsters. So age is not a criterion here at all. So this, therefore, according to so therefore when Sankara says over there, he's telling that old man, why are you so stuck with worldly knowledge? Turn to the Lord. It doesn't mean age-wise. All worldly knowledge is necessary, but there is something else which alone will take care of your here and hereafter. And what is it? It's the Lord. And how we relate to the Lord. So maybe we know a little bit, where 0.0001%, right? We go to the puja room, we go to the temple, we perform our ritual, but our children are completely deprived of it. Totally. They do not know anything at all. So when they grow up, what will they hold on to? They will have nothing to hold on to in their times of need, in their times of crisis. Therefore, when Sankara says over here, Bhaja Govindam, he is not pointing out only to people who have crossed 60 or 65. He is talking to all of us. Bhaja, invoke the Lord. When? Now, he says, here and now. There is no more auspicious time than here and now. Why? This is the only thing that can take care of our here and hereafter. All of us put together. So it becomes very, very important, not only we people to perform our puja and to go to the temple, etc. It becomes very important for us to make it a daily habit in our children also. Before they go to school, one namaskar to the Lord. That concept of the higher, which alone will help them when they grow up. From now onwards, till they grow up, that has to be put into them. So therefore, Bhaja Govindam is not only for a person who has become a senior citizen. It's there right now even for children. That's why we teach Bhaja Govindam to children also. They may not understand it as we are going to now understand, but still it goes into them. So Bhaja means, we've already seen what Bhaja means. It is to invoke the Lord. Whom should we invoke? Obviously we are invoking the higher. Over here Sankara uses the word Govinda. Govinda, of course, is the name of Krishna also, but over here we are going to treat the Bhaja Govindam as an Advaita text, the universality of it. We should not get stuck with Krishna and Rama or Shiva or Devi. Only this deity can, no other deity can. Lord is one. We are the ones who have given to him different names, different forms, different characteristics and qualities, and there are different glories, stories woven around them all. Why? Our constitution is different, physically, mentally and intellectually. Mind needs to hold on to something. So what we like, what makes me like Rama and what makes somebody else like Krishna? Our constitution. So it's perfectly right for one to pray to Rama and one to pray to a Krishna and somebody else to pray to Shiva and another person to pray to Devi. But all of us are invoking the higher principle only. The higher principle, God is one. We all say God is one. But when it comes to the deities, we know we become very narrow-minded and fanatic over there. So Lord is one. Each of us are approaching the Lord in a different way. Paths are many, roads are many, but the destination or the goal is one. So over here he uses the word Govinda. So what does Govinda mean? Sankara himself breaks it down into, gives four different meanings. Like I already said, Madhvacharya gives 100 meanings to each of the namas that come in Vishnu Sahasranama. Govinda comes there. So what does Govinda mean? Govinda means, in the Bhagavad Puran, when Indra Bhagavan gave to Krishna the title Govinda, it means you are the Lord of all the cattle. That's what it means over there. Because Krishna was a Yadav, cowherd boy. He was looking after the cows. And he protected all the cows. When the rains came, when Indra showered the rains, day and night, I won't go into the story part. Krishna lifted up the Govardhana and everybody got shelter over there. The Gopa, the Gopi, the cows, the bullocks, etc. All of them were taken care of by Krishna so beautifully. So at that point of time, when Indra realizes Krishna's glory, Krishna's might and strength, he submits to the Lord. He comes, the rain stop. He comes down. And at that point of time, Surabhi also comes, the celestial cow comes over there. And she tells Krishna, you are the one who looked after all my breed. Cows. She is the mother of all cows. You looked after them. You gave shelter. Therefore, I wish to perform Abhisheka to you. With what can Surabhi perform Abhisheka to Krishna? Milk, cow. So she did Kshira Abhisheka to Krishna. Surabhi does. After an Abhisheka with any of the ingredients, milk, curds, etc., water has to be, that's a tradition. Jala Abhisheka must be performed. At that point of time, Indra does Jala Abhisheka to Krishna. With what? With Ganga waters. And then at that point of time, he gives to Krishna the title Govinda. So Govinda actually, what does it mean? It means over there in the context, the Lord of the cattle. Govinda means you are the Lord of the cattle. Subjectively, what do cattle represent? In the morning, at night, all the cows are in their cow shed, tied up. And in the morning, what do the cows do? They are let off so that they can go and graze. So all the cows will move out and then they will go everywhere, roam around, graze, take shelter under a tree, etc., relax over there. In the evening time, all the cows will again come back to rest. At night, they don't move around. So subjectively in us, what do the cows represent? The cows represent subjectively in us our sense organs. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin. They are the cows. When we are sleeping at night, all of them are shut off. We are not seeing, we are not hearing, smelling, tasting, not touching. It's like the cows gone off to sleep. In the morning when we get up, what happens? Our eyes roam around in the world of forms and colors. Our ears roam around in the world of sound. Our nose roams around in the world of fragrances, smells. Our skin roams around. It's a way of saying, that's all. In the world of touch, sensation. and our tongue, of course, in the world of taste. So they are all like cows in us, 5 of them, Jnanendriyas. We let them loose in the morning, they go around, gather their experiences. So when we receive from the world outside through these 5, then we either we react or we respond. And at night, what happens? They all get settled in us and then take rest. Just like the cows. So the cows must be controlled, contained, otherwise they may go away. Missing cow, it's strayed away. So it's a coward's job to make sure that the cows don't go astray, don't stray away. They all must stay in one place, though they are allowed to graze. Similarly, in us also, we need somebody to make sure that our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin do graze, do go into the world outside, but they are well controlled. If they are not under our control, we know what will happen to us. The Rakshasatva in us will dominate. Or the Asuratva. We'll all become little Rakshasas. No control at all. We've let loose our sense organs into the world outside. And accordingly also will be our responses through our karmendriyas, organs of action. Somebody should be there in us to control them all. That's why, and also, who is there in us who really makes us see, who makes us hear, who makes us smell, taste, touch. Eyes are there, but we should be able to see. So the power of vision in the eyes make us see. How many blind people are there? We will never know they are blind until they tell us, eyes look very healthy. But they say, no, I can't see. Eyes are there physically, but the power of vision. Ears are there. Looking at a person, we will never know that the person is deaf or a person is dumb, can't speak. So ears are there, tongue is there, mouth is there, but the person cannot hear, the person cannot speak. Why? Power of audition is not there. Power of speech is not there. So who represents in us the power of vision, the power of audition, the power of speech? Some factor is there in us which gives power or which lends power to our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin and makes them do whatever they are doing. That is Bhagavan. So in that sense, the Lord is, or the higher principle is the Lord of all these cows. What are the cows or who are the cows in us? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin. Therefore, he is called as Govinda, the Lord of our sense organs, which means Lord of the cows. Direct meaning is Lord of the cows. That's one meaning of Govinda. Another meaning, Govinda means one who knows Prakriti. Prakriti means matter, material. The entire materialistic plane. We call it as Prakriti. One who knows means one who is the Lord of. He who knows is the Lord. So the Lord of Prakriti. And that is very beautifully depicted as Bhudevi. Bhudevi doesn't only mean our earth. All matter, gross matter and subtle matter, all put together. That material domain can never function without the Lord. So who is the one who makes Prakriti function? Who lends life to Prakriti and then makes her do whatever she is doing is the Lord. So therefore he is called as Lord of Prakriti. That also means Govinda, he who knows. He who knows the gross earth. Earth doesn't mean only Mother Earth, it means all the materialistic plane that we know of. Second meaning. Third meaning of Govinda is one who confers on us speech. We all talk. And the tongue we use only for eating and talking. They say if these two can be controlled, eating and talking, we are already well controlled. They are the ones who give maximum trouble to us. So speech is because of our tongue. How many of us are well educated but so uncultured? Why? The words that come out of us. Purandara Dasaru says, Acharavillada nalige, ninna nicha buddhya bidu nalige. You don't have any culture at all, uncultured you are. Leave this way of abusing people. Don't you have knowledge? So educated is different, cultured is completely different. A cultured person need not have gone through school and college like us at all. But still they can be highly cultured. Why? The words that come out of us. The words that come out of us will ensure how cultured we are. Not our education sometimes. So who is the one who confers on us speech? We all use our mouth, left and right, tongue left and right. Most of the time we are only gossiping. Meaningless, useless, purposeless. Nothing is meaningful, purposeful. Just like that I spoke. Why? Time was there, mobile was there, nothing else to do. There. Or we abuse people, we insult people, we make a mockery of people through words. How to be able to speak itself is a big tapas. Hanumanji knew that. So Bhagavan is the one who confers speech on us. He is the one who recites on our tongue. Saraswati, they say, recites on our tongue. So if we don't use our tongue properly, she will leave her dwelling place and go away somewhere else. So Bhagavan is the one over here who confers speech on all of us. Vak. If that feeling, if we really get into this, the essence of it, and we are convinced 100%, Bhagavan is there dwelling on my tongue. He is the one who is responsible for my speech. The power of speech he gives. The power of communication is his. We are already on the right path. We will never misuse our tongue and abuse people on the other side. It will get automatically taken care of. So Govinda also means, because go means speech also. It goes from our mouth, the words go out to somebody else. So Govinda means one who confers speech on us. He represents the power of speech in all of us. Third meaning. Fourth meaning. Govinda means Atman, Brahman, the very knowledge. Not knowledge of something. Knowledge of chemistry, knowledge of computer science, knowledge of medical sciences. The very knowing principle in us, because of which we know everything. And also because of which we know what we do not know also. That is the knowing principle. I know what I know, and I also know what I do not know. Both should be known to us. So on the other side, yes, there is an area well illuminated. I know this. But there is also another area, probably bigger than this, larger than this, wherein we are ignorant of. So I know this, I know this, I know this. I do not know this, I do not know this, I do not know this. Somebody can question us, how do you know what you know? We say, I know what I know. We have used the word know 2 times. I know what I do not know. How do you know what you do not know? I know what I do not know. So I know on this side is the same. But on the other side, there was a I know, and there was also a I do not know. Opposites over there. But on this side, it is just positive. We can't even say positive, because positive means immediately we think of a negative. So here is one which is beyond beyond opposites. Yes, it's only knowing. Yes, I know, and I know, and I know. What do I know? I know what I know, and I also know what I do not know. That knowing principle in each and every one of us is Govinda. Because of him, we can call it as life, capital L. We can call it as Atman. We can call it as consciousness. We can call it as a Brahman. We can call it as the highest reality, Paramatma, Parabrahma. We can give any name. Or if you want a nice name with name form, we can say Krishna, Rama, Shiva. We can give any name to it. He is the very knowing principle in each one of us. He is the very consciousness in us, because of which we are conscious of what we know, and we are also conscious of what we do not know. So on this side, conscious remain the same, but on the other side there is an I know, and there is a I do not know also. So therefore, over here, Govinda represents for us the very Atman in us, the soul, S-O-U-L, Brahman in us, the knowing principle in each one of us, because of which we exist. He is the very existence, absolute existence. Absolute means one, without a second, and which doesn't change. When we bring in the word relative, it means everything changes. So that one absolute existence, capital A, capital E, which lends existence to everything, and which also lends existence to that which doesn't exist. Existence is there, non-existence also is there. How do we know it exists? There's some factor in us which is solid existing, which told us this exists. How do you know that this does not exist? There is a solid absolute existence in us which also told us that this doesn't exist. So existence and non-existence are there on the other side. Both of them are known, or both of them are supported by something solid, absolute existence. Different words for the same. That is being termed over here and known over here as, or Adi Shankara uses the word Govinda for it. We can use any word we want, which we are comfortable with. Instead of Govinda, we can say Shiva, Shiva also. Anything is fine, but he uses the word Bhaja Govindam. So actually over here the teacher is telling us, when he says Bhaja Govindam, he says invoke the higher. Invoke Govinda. Now we know Govinda stands for something universal, something all-pervading. Govinda stands for Brahman. But if we are comfortable with Saguna Upasana, with name form, then he is saying invoke your Ishta Devata, whichever deity it be. So Bhaja Govindam. Again he repeats Bhaja Govindam, because we will hear through this ear and leave it out to that ear. Or we heard, but by the time we have gone, how many of us go for satsang and then come back and what did you hear in the satsang? Let's say we went for Bhagavad Saptah. Chapter 12 was going on of this section. What were they saying? That I can't now tell you. Why? Because we never heard anything properly. We were there. Attendance we have given, present, that's all. Were we really present? No. Did we hear, really listen? No. We heard some words. So the teacher over here has to stress. Just like we stress for our children also. Do your homework. Yes, mummy, I will do. But we know what the child will do. It will continue playing. What will we do? We will definitely raise our tone. I say, will you do your homework? So then the child becomes more alert. Mummy is more serious now. Similarly over here, with all the compassion that the teacher has for all of us, he is insisting over here. Emphasis over here. Bhaja Govindam. Bhaja Govindam. Invoke the Lord. Invoke the Lord, he is telling us, because he knows we will say yes sir and we will forget everything. And then what do we do after, when the child doesn't listen to us second time, third time, fourth time, we still raise our voice. Do your homework. Do your homework. Or will you do your homework or not? How we read? Or homework has not been done. Will you do it or not? Otherwise, tomorrow you are not going out to play. We change some words also. We take it to a higher pitch also, just to make the child get up and do its homework. Similarly over here, we will also, just like the old Pandit sit over there, study the Bhagavad Gita, yes sir. Study the Bhagavad Gita, yes sir. But we will never go into it at all. So the teacher has to emphasize. So therefore, Bhaja Govindam. Bhaja Govindam. Still we have not. We have only said yes sir and we are still there. Therefore he reverses the words. Govindam Bhaja. Even when we are chanting it, we can feel it over there. We can feel the urgency over there, the anxiety in the teacher's mind to help us out of the mess that we have all fallen into. So Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam Bhaja. He reversed the words over there. More emphasis over there. Govindam Bhaja. Hey Moodamate. Mati means intellect. So Moodamate actually means, a literal translation will be, oh you fool. Mooda means Buddhu. Foolish. Oh foolish one. Now foolish one here doesn't mean uneducated, not gone to the college, no degrees. It doesn't mean that at all. A foolish one is one who knows and yet will not do. That's all it is. Why did you touch the hot plate? Did you not know that the plate was on the fire? Tawa, whatever it is. It was there? Yes, I knew. Did you not know that it has been switched on? Yes, I know. Did you not know that it will be hot? Yes, I know. But why did you touch it? I do not know why I touched it. I'm just giving an example, that's all. We may not do it, but a child will do it. He will forget. So a foolish one over here really means not that they don't have the knowledge, but even in spite of knowing everything, still we continue to do whatever we are doing. Therefore, we are really lost in life. We live our own spirituality, even in this world. We are completely lost, sidetracked. So therefore, Shankara is pulling us up and saying, hey Moodamate, which means over here, hey foolish one. Why? With respect to the Pandit over there, he is very, very old. But for all of us, how do we know how long we will survive? None of us know. Tomorrow we do not know what will happen. Evening we do not know what will happen. Night we do not know what will happen. Therefore, hey foolish one, do you think you got long life? We don't know anything. So why don't you get up and immediately start doing what you're supposed to do here and now, which will help you in your here and your hereafter. So therefore, he is addressing all of us as Moodamate, not to put us down. He has to use these sharp words just to pull us up. He can't say, oh wise one. Why? Age-wise, he's a Pandit, he's senior citizen, he's so old. How can I call him a foolish one? The teacher's anxiety is to lift us all up. So, hey foolish one, Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam Bhajagodamati. Half the verse only is over. Why is the teacher so anxious to pull us up? Why is he interfering in my life? We are doing whatever we are doing, which we like. Suddenly somebody is coming over there and trying to pull us out of what we were doing very, very comfortably. So why are you coming and entering into my life and telling me, do this, Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, and Govindam Bhaja? I am happy doing whatever I am doing right now. The reason for the teacher's anxiety comes in the next two lines of this verse, chorus verse, which we will take up in the next class.